I've been quiet about the coaching industry and the healing industry for a long time. And it's not because I didn't have opinions. It's not because I didn't have feelings about things that I've been seeing. I just didn't really want to be seen as a hypocrite because I too am a coach and a healer and I have things to offer in this world. And I just didn't want to be lumped into the masses. And so I really just wanted to share what I've been noticing because I feel like it just doesn't sit right with me. And I want people to be aware of what's going on in the industry because there are so many people that I see who are needing help with coaching and healing, and they're buying programs and they're asking, signing up for what these people have to offer out of places of fear and not sitting in their truth and actually saying like, yes, this feels like the right solution, but instead they're like, oh my God, this is my last chance. This is my only hope. And if I can just share what I've noticed and switch the narrative around what it looks like to work with someone, how they approach what they offer, then I feel like that's my first step into actually showing what healing and coaching can actually look like and feel like when you are working with someone who is showing up as a coach and a healer first, not as a content creator and an entrepreneur first. And I think that's the problem with this industry, is that so often now people are showing up as content creators and entrepreneurs rather than showing up as a coach and a healer. And here's where I'm seeing this dynamic fall into play. So I just saw, well, I've seen many reels, but the one that really kind of was the catalyst for this video and this episode is that a lot of coaches, if you're watching, you'll see that, but if you're listening, it's air quotes, they use phrases like you're, 3 signs you're stuck in the first phase of your healing journey. And by the way, there are 3 phases. That's not true. I've been on a healing journey for 9 years. There are no real distinct phases. It's not like you can say like, check, 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 check. Oh, done phase 1 and now I get to move on to phase 2. A lot of times when we're in our healing journey, we take 3 steps back or 3 steps forward and then 10 steps back and then maybe 7 steps forward and 6 steps back. That's how it really works. And you know that you are making progress on your healing journey, not because you're reaching certain phases or things like that, but because you're not being as triggered as often. You're not going into the spiral as deep. And if you are triggered, you're not staying there in that space as long. And that's how you know that you're moving through a healing journey, not because you're reaching these invisible milestone phases that really, quite frankly, don't exist. At least not from my experience and not the work that I've seen with my clients. And so when you hear someone say to you, here are the 3 signs you're stuck in the first phase of the healing journey, no, that is not true. Do not listen, because what they're doing is they're setting the stage for you to think, oh my gosh, I need this. They have the answer. They can get me out of where I am to the next phase. Yes. That sounds amazing, because I don't want to be stuck. I don't want to be in the first phase. I want to be in that 3rd phase, because it gives you this idea that there's some finish line to cross in a healing journey. There's no finish line. A finish line doesn't exist. And so it creates this immediate sense of like dependence upon the person. And my goal as a coach is to create independence. I never want someone to be dependent on me and think like, oh my gosh, what is Kim going to say? Like, I need to get Kim's opinion on this. Like, no, I need my clients to know that they actually have the answers and the tools that they can actually figure it out on their own as they're learning the triggers that they're running, the patterns that they're running, the meaning that they're making around all of these things. Like, that's the real magic, is that when you get to a place of being able to see it for yourself and you're not reliant on someone else to tell you. What they do is like, oh, I can get you to the 2nd phase, and then they're going to get you to the 2nd phase, and then they're going to sell you another program and get you to the phase after that. And guess what? At the beginning of the reel, they said there are 3 healing phases. But when that 3rd phase comes, they still want your money. So they're going to create something else that you need to stick around for a little bit longer. And so it's not the most honest approach. But what they do is they're hooking you in so that you'll watch the content and then they leave you with just enough to feel like, oh, okay, that makes sense, but now what? Well, if I get past the first phase, what's the second phase? And then you go scrolling through their feed, and looking for the next video, like, oh, where's the video for the second phase or the third phase or whatever? And you just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and it keeps you stuck in this consumption mode, which is the exact thing that they're telling you is wrong, because then they might use big words like, oh, well, you're intellectualizing your healing journey because you're reading self-help books and you're going to a therapist or you're going to a psychologist, and don't forget about the biochemistry and the epigenetics and the spiritual bypassing and the ego and the inner child work and the somatic exercises. The list of buzzwords goes on and on and on, but when they use these buzzwords, it also triggers into your brain this feeling of like, oh my gosh, they know more than me. They really, truly are the expert. And it's like a false sense of expertise. It's like most coaches, let's be real, don't have degrees in psychology. They're really just repeating what they've heard someone say to them or on another reel that they've watched. And then they take that information and they'll make it into like an analogy or a metaphor, and then take it as their own information, their own knowledge, and try to spin it to you in a way that gives them this feeling of like making you feel like, oh, they're up here, they're farther along than I am because they're using all these words and all these terms, and I don't know these words, I don't know these terms. But the other thing that they do with these terms is it creates labels. Like, oh, you're in the cocoon phase. Oh, it's because of parentification. Oh, and then you think, oh yeah, I'm parentified. So then you hang on to this label of parentified, or you hang on to this label of cocoon phase. Like, well, I can't change my behavior because I'm only in the cocoon phase of my healing journey. But that's not the case. A lot of what we do is we run patterns. So like you're running a pattern of being parentified. Okay, let's break down what that pattern looks like and what you're doing, and let's shift the pattern so that it's something more serving. But they're using these words so that way you perceive them to be an expert in the field, and then you on some level, it garners more of your trust. You are willing to let down your wall or let down your judgment a little bit because you think, oh my gosh, they know the words. That's it. They're the experts. Yes, let's keep going forward. But then they also shame you for the things that you've done. Like, oh, you've read all the self-help books. Oh, you've done yoga. You do meditation. You do the affirmations. So you know where the trauma is. You know where the behaviors come from. You know why you do what you do. Oh, you think that you've forgiven yourself and others. Oh, you say that you accept yourself, but when someone triggers you, you go back to your old ways. Well, yes, we're human nature, and it just means that if you're triggered and going back to your old ways, you're just not as far there. You haven't done as much healing work yet, but that doesn't imply that you're doing things wrong or that you should be farther. That's not true. And so really, I just want to have you recognize that by saying these things, using these big words, trying to shame you for the things that you've done, it essentially keeps you on the hamster wheel and the emotional roller coaster of your healing journey, because you think, oh my gosh, that's right, I have been binging self-help books. I've been binging these reels and I'm not getting any farther. So if this person can give me the tools to stop doing that and actually make real lasting growth, then yes, oh my gosh, let me see what this person has to say about that. But essentially, they're asking you to do the thing they're telling you is wrong. They want you to watch their content. They want you to go from this first video to the next video to the next video to the next video. So it's hypocritical in a sense, which is why I've struggled with speaking my truth for so long, because I don't want to come across that way. Like, I'm asking you to watch this video, but I want you to watch this video and then be able to use discernment with how you're moving forward, so that you don't feel like you have to continue binging and binging and binging and binging and getting nowhere fast and staying in that same place that you originally were. And then they also say that you're like avoiding the work. Oh, well, by doing all of these things, you're practicing avoidance. Oh, you keep adding more to your to-do list. Oh, you constantly have to be busy. Well, we've been conditioned to believe that in order to be seen as worthy or valued, we have to be human doings. We're told that being a human being and being still is wrong because we're not being productive members of society. We're not contributing. But we've also probably learned somewhere in childhood that we have to be performative to be valued. So like we had to get straight A's to be seen as smart. We had to be an athlete and, be the top player on our team in order to get the accolades and the attaboys and the attagirls from our parents and our coaches and the adults in our lives who we really wanted to get approval from. And so we're not not avoiding the behavior. And yes, there could be some avoidance there because let's be honest, doing the work isn't that fun. It's really not that sexy. It's not as fun as trying to build a laptop lifestyle or gain 1 million followers on YouTube. It hurts. It brings up painful memories that we've tried so hard to forget and let go of. So could there be some avoidance? Yes, but at the same time, we're also trying to create this safety, this comfort, this certainty for ourselves, giving ourselves the control that we feel like we don't have. Because when we're in the middle of a healing journey, life feels so out of control. We have things coming at us left and right from our past, from our memories, from our feelings, from our emotions, and we also have a life to live. We have probably kids to raise. We have a partner that we're in a relationship with. We have a job. We have bills. We have pets. We have family members who want our time. And so there is just so much coming at us all the time. And so, yes, we will do whatever we can to make it feel like we can breathe and we're not drowning or treading water. It's a survival. And so you're not wrong for trying to stay busy. You're not wrong for trying to give yourself that safety, that comfort, that control that you're so desperately looking for. You're in survival mode. And oftentimes we live in survival mode more than we realize because our nervous systems are just tapped out to the max. And so don't feel bad about being busy. It's a pattern. We're running a pattern of being busy because it meets our needs. And so if we can allow ourselves to take a step back or take one thing off of our to-do list that isn't going to move the needle forward for us, then that's a win, just recognizing that in and of itself. And so I just wanted to share my thoughts and my feelings because I don't want to be someone who perpetuates the fake bullshit, really, of the healing and coaching industry. I want people to know that you don't have to fall prey to these tactics and to recognize that when someone is actually a genuine person who is interested truly in your healing journey, they're going to show up as a coach and a healer first. They're not going to show up as a content creator or an entrepreneur first. And so my goal today is that I hope that you see me as a coach and a healer first, not as an entrepreneur and not as a content creator, because I didn't always have that support system when I was on my healing journey. I had a lot of people who were content creators and entrepreneurs first, helping me in my journey, and I got nowhere fast. I spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to literally make no progress. None whatsoever. And so that hurt. I felt resentful. I felt like I couldn't trust anybody. And it was a really lonely time. And I just don't want people to have to continue to live in this space and feel this way because it's awful. It makes the journey harder and longer and more painful than it needs to be. And so just know that these are the things that these people are being told to do by coaches that they've hired. So this is almost like, this isn't them just doing this. This is because this is what they see other people doing. And then they think that it's working because those people get thousands of views on their social media and they get, they claim to have helped 800,000 plus people, 200 countries across the world. And so we believe these false accolades because we are desperate to feel better. And so just moving forward, when you see content or a content creator that is claiming to be a coach or a healer, if you notice these tactics, please just take a step back and check in with yourself to see if it feels aligned with you and what you're looking for. And if it doesn't, keep scrolling or exit. Don't feel like you have to settle for that solution because that's the first solution to cross your path.